Guys, let us all share this video and watch to the end. Most of my followers have tagged me with this guy's video, so let's share so that majority can watch this video. This guy claimed that he doesn't believe in religion, but he not believing in religion has even made him more senseless. When you look at his analysis on issues, you realize that this guy have a low IQ. This guy is lying on his platform that I said Muslims should be thrown out of Ghana. Why did I say Muslims should be thrown out of Ghana? You picked my video and you are analyzing it and you are speaking nonsense. What I'm saying is the law should be put to work. The leaders should stop begging us to live a peaceful life. The law should work. Most of them are afraid of arresting people because they are afraid of losing votes. And these people who tell us to live peaceful. How do we live peaceful if the law is not working? If you arrest somebody today for threatening someone, for saying things that can destroy the nation, and jail them 50 years, 40 years, the next day, the other person will learn. The brain will work. That is the system. If the system is working, you don't need to be telling us about peace. We will live peaceful ourselves because we know that when we do something wrong against the peace of the country, we will be arrested and be jailed. That is my message. So why are you talking about hate? Why are you talking? If you are talking about me speaking against a religion that believes in violence, because if you look at their books and their character, 90% of them, they preach violence, and this is a threat to our peace. I am not attacking a human being. I am attacking the religious system that make people violence. And you said I'm preaching hate. I'm preaching hate, and I'm a threat to the peace of the country. Then the police system should retire. Then you should take the police system out of the system. You should stop the court system and the law system and see whether we can be able to live in this world for 1 year. So if the police are arresting wicked doers, putting them behind bars so that peace will reign in the country, so that people can have the liberty to live, and you tell me that that is hate speech, then you need to be delivered because you're having mental issues. Because how can you tell me that God's channel is pushing an agenda by exposing a certain character that is a threat to the peace of our country? They always think your opinion is an insult, but they have opinions on our religion, they have opinions on other people's religion, and that is not considered as an insult. But your opinion on their religion, you quoting their religious book, is an insult, and people are pretending that they can't see what I am saying. People are pretending, hiding behind some curtains, which makes them think they are smarter than us. My brother, this country that we are living in, the pretenders are many. The pretenders are many. We have more than 4,000 religions in the world. Which religion goes around threatening people than Islam? Tell me. Why can't we call a spade a spade? Tell the Muslims that if they really believe in God and they believe in peace, they should advise themselves and stay away from violence and threatening of people. God doesn't need you and I to fight for him. We only preach his word to bring people in line with his purpose. But God doesn't need you to go and fight people because of their opinion of their religion. God doesn't move that way. This is what I'm talking about. The laws must be enforced to deal with anything that is a threat to the peace of our countries. It is not a hate speech for someone or because I hate somebody personally. No, it is about enforcing the law. The law needs to be enforced. You don't need to beg us to live a peaceful life. If anybody preach the law, forget about your votes, forget about election, and arrest the person and deal with the person. This is how nations are developed. This is how countries are fixed. We have a long way to go. Africa, we have a long way to go. We are looking for people that can stand and fix the country without thinking about people that will vote for them or people that will not vote for them. These are things we are looking for. A leader should be somebody that should be ready to lose votes just to do the right thing. A leader should not be a person that is always afraid that when I arrest this, when I deal with this person, I'll lose votes. If the people really trust in you as their leader, whatever you do or whatever decision you take in ensuring for their peace and their safety and their development, they will still vote for you. But if the people refuse to give you power, they are the one going to suffer. So don't be bothered about you losing the vote, but fix the country, do your part, do what can help the nation, and leave the rest for God. God's journey is the problem. I am the problem because you people don't want to listen to the truth. You care about relevance and votes than thinking about the nations and the people. God's journal is not aligning with anybody to speak anything, and nobody is behind God's journal doing what the Spirit of God is what is pushing me to say the things I say, because God knows all things, knows the heart of man. He sees the secrets of men, and whatever I preach here, it is not a political party behind me. It is the Spirit of God. Now, He is pushing a political agenda. Which political agenda? Which political agenda? Which political agenda am I pushing? Do you have 2 Ghana? Or you have 3 Ghana? You have only 1 Ghana. I've given you all the evidence. Muslims are pushing an agenda for Sharia. The things they are typing, the police should be coming to our comment section. They should form a department that goes through comment section and find people and arrest them. Because when you look at the comment of some of the Muslims, you understand our message. You know where we are coming from. Now, how can a Muslim be thinking that we will definitely take over Ghana and he's walking free? The police should invite him and ask him, how are you going to take over Ghana? He's saying the religion will take over Ghana. That means he is going to throw away the constitution when he get the power. These are things the police should start investigating and arresting, and forget about losing votes. Forget about these things. Look, there are some people that were taken out of office in politics, and years later they were celebrated. Why? Because people did not value them when they were in office. But when the people voted against them and they left office, some years later, the people realized they've made a mistake. That is what I'm talking about. It is right about time our leaders should stop being afraid of their people. They should stop being afraid of votes. They should stop being afraid and wake up and do the right thing. Whether you lose or you win, do what is right for the country. And I tell you, the people will remember you. And you'll be rewarded by God. Your generation will be rewarded by God. This is how nations are transformed. This is how nations are built. People shouldn't be hiding behind, I don't believe in religion. Religion is the problem. And I mean, I'm a traditionalist. And this man is spreading hate. And he hates Muslims. And then he's always attacking Muslims. The law too is attacking criminals. So the law is preaching hate. The law is attacking rapists. So the law is preaching hate. The law is attacking rapists, so the law too is preaching hate. Is that the analysis you are making? Is that the analysis you are making? When we speak against injustice, they say you are a problem. When you speak against corruption, they say you are a problem. When you speak against anything that is a threat, why are we the problem? Because you know what you are hiding. You know that what we are saying, if the law is enforced, it may go against your own secret agenda. That is why you try to deceive the public, making them think God's journal, Apostle Daniel is the problem. The problem is the one who cannot tolerate. The problem is the man who says he fights for his God. The problem is the man who cannot accept the opinion of other people on his religion. But 247, he is on neck on people's religion. There are a lot of people who believe that we are doing hate. We don't hate anybody. We are defending the country. And this round about time, we all come together. Sometimes those that even say that they don't believe in religion, most of them, not all of them, the analysis like this guy, the analysis that he's putting on his platform, that God's general hates the Muslims and we have been living in peace, so we should stop him from doing what he's doing. You are living in what peace? Someone is threatening your nation. Someone is planning to bring Sharia, and you are telling me that I'm announcing that I'm the problem here.